Hey everybody, this is Harry, and we're here once again with another comic book haul. Every month I do these videos, and all we do is we take a look at the the various comics that I have as part of my pull list. Right now I go through DCBS, and all we're going to do is we're going to take a peek at what I'm reading, talk a little bit about it, and maybe I'll talk about some of the stuff that I read last month and give you some thoughts and things about what I read. And toward the end of the video, I'm going to just talk a little bit about life and whatever else comes to mind. So if that sounds like your bag, stay tuned, and if not, come back to the channel and another day we'll definitely have something else that may tickle your fancy. All right, so let's go ahead and flip this camera down to the desktop and see what books we have this month. So here we are on the desktop, and we have, we'll start off with my invoice for the month, and we see it was picked by D. Thank you, D, for your picking work and all the work you've done. As a warehouse worker, I do definitely appreciate the efforts of anybody that works in a warehouse. Unless you know logistics, you don't know what goes into this whole thing. And there's so many people that are involved in getting you your stuff from a warehouse. But thank you to this person. You've done a great job. So this month's books, we get 26 books. And the total is $90.60. Everything is between 35 and 40% off. So that's not bad at all. And I say for 26 books, I'm not exactly sure right off the top of my head what the math is for going into 90, but I'm going to go ahead and say this is roughly $4 per book. Which, you know, that's I think pretty standard fare for comics. I have a couple trades in here, and I have some interesting stuff. So let's see what we got. So we're starting off with By Chance or Providence. So this seemed like a interesting book to me. It was one that I added just sort of on a whim. I really like that unicorn wallpaper that starts out in, and this is a neat fantasy fairy tale-y-ish story, and it is dark, grim, moody. Looks like we have some neat expressionistic art going on. Now, I flipped through this just a little bit earlier, and one of the things that I noticed as I was going through is roughly right here. Yep, so there's the end of the story, thereabouts. This much of the book is just extra stuff. So, you know, when you look at, I'm going to just go ahead and say, it looks roughly to be a quarter to a third of the book is just like concept art and illustrations, which is nice to see. However, as you will know from my sort of qualms with Miracle Man, I'd really rather have more content. So anyhow, By Chance or Providence collects Becky Cloonan's award-winning trilogy Wolves, The Mire, and Demeter. These stories cast a spell of hypnotic melancholy, weaving their way through medieval landscapes of ancient curses and relatable truths that will haunt you long after you've set them down. So I think kind of like a dark fairy tale-y kind of thing. You get some praise from Mike Mignola and a few other folks. So this is, again, it seems like an interesting book, and I'm thinking that this would be pretty interesting. Ancient Curses and Terrible Truths. I think I said relatable earlier. But anywho's, yeah, this is, I think, going to be a fun time. It's listed as historical fiction / romance. So some romantic fun stuff, and we'll see how it goes. So By Chance or Providence. Next up is a book that was suggested by my friend Dickie called Do a Powerbomb. Daniel Warren Johnson and Mike Saker. This is the story of, well, it involves pro wrestling, which if you've been following, you know that I enjoy books about pro wrestling. And it involves a little bit of fantasy as well. So they had said that it's sort of like pro wrestling, but also has like a Dragon Ball Z aspect to it. I dig this art style. It's, I'd say, very strong on the oranges, browns, with the blues tone thrown in as a nice extra tone. I think that really works because there's going to be a lot of flesh tones because it's wrestling. So I think it's neat. And even that little bit of green really sticks out. Anywho's. But yeah, this looks pretty cool. Again, like I dig this kind of stuff, so we'll see how this goes. I had considered getting the book before, but it's one that I did not collect as floppies. So let's go with Upside Down Reading once again. And Lona Steelrose wants to be a pro wrestler, but she's living under the shadow of her mother, the best to ever do it. Everything changes when a wrestling-obsessed necromancer asks her to join the grandest pro wrestling tournament of all time, which also is the most dangerous. It's the wrestler meets Dragon Ball Z in a tale where the competitors get more than they ever bargained for. So I think that could be really cool. The idea that there's magic involved and stuff like that, and it's going to be, I think, just a violent, fun sort of thing. So this is the most expensive book that came in this month as a trade paperback. This is $24.99 cover price. So that's, it's not bad for how big this book is. So, this is, I want to say, at least twice the size of By Chance or Providence. And there is just content until it gets to like the last couple of pages where it gives you the covers. And look at this. This reminds me of Kinnikuman, also Muscle in the U.S. So, I again, really cool. That's really neat, too. This gives me like Street Fighter vibes there. But yeah, I'm very excited to read this one. I think it'll be fun. And you get a little bit of sketchbook book action. See, this is what I want for when they do sketchbook stuff. Just give me a couple pages. That's all I need. I don't need, a half a book's worth. So, do a power bomb. And again, this cover is pretty cool. It's got the embossed, so the person flying through the air is a little bit of the shiny, and everything else is matte. So that's pretty cool. All right, so before we get to the floppies, I'm gonna just deal with this. So flip this around so you guys can see it. This bookmark was packaged in with everything. Ahoy Comics, Sunstar, Jesus, Cranius, Second Coming Trinity, and it's got this superhero flying down, Jesus pushing a baby carriage, and a person in another person. I have no idea what's going on with this. I don't know why I got this bookmark, but I got a new bookmark. That's good, right? So it's a little weird, a little strange. It's not something I'd be interested in reading that I know of, but, maybe if I knew anything about it, or if I even seen any, solicitations for it, maybe I'd be interested, but I don't know. Art Brut Unabridged, issue 3. So I've finally started reading Art Brut, and it's been fun. So it involves a guy that's actually able to go into paintings, and right here we have him going into the Scream, and he's solving crimes within the paintings, and he has Manny the Mannequin helps him out. There's this Andy Warhol themed evil power that's trying to do stuff to art, which this is really such a neat and weird idea. And it's fun for anyone that enjoys a little bit of art history and a little bit of gore. But yeah, this has been a fun read so far, and I really like the end stories that they do, where they focus on one given painting and then a little story about it. Last issue had one with Don Quixote, and this one actually has the American Gothic painting. So pretty cool stuff. So I would say this is not a super high recommend for everybody. If you are into art history and you're into kind of strange books, this would be good. If you like Ice Cream Man, you may like this. If you enjoy, this gives me Ted McKeever vibes. So if you like the comics of Ted McKeever, you might enjoy this. So, yes, Art Brut number 3 with the Andy Warhol cover, because I could not say no to the Andy Warhol cover. I mean, I could say no because I don't really love Andy Warhol, but I just thought this was neat for a cover. Whoop. Batman, One Bad Day, Clayface. All right. So now the One Bad Day keeps rolling. Now we're going to Clayface world. And boom. I love it. It starts with a script. So as you know, the fella that is Clayface was an actor. And so that's super appropriate. And we have a nice art style. Look at that beautiful Clayface, folks. I love the backlighting on him. That's really cool. We got this neat. All this is neat. Neat. Love it. Every second of it. So, yeah. So just flipping on through. There's definitely going to be some sort of thing going on that's going to get Batman involved. But as I flip through, I don't see a ton of Batman, but I do see a lot of Clayface. So Clayface is one of my favorite villains, mostly because he has that sort of like Frankenstein thing going on where he's an abomination and that sort of thing. So, yeah, I really dig this. So I'm just going to flip through really quick. Look at that splash page. Nice. Or don't look at that splash page because you don't want to see that Batman's actually in this. But yeah, I mean, he's going to be in it. Batman's going to be in a Batman book. It's not a spoiler. All right, and then the back, just like the other One Bad Days, has a symbol or thing representative of the character. And so this is the Best Actor Award for Basil Carlo, a.k.a. Clayface, and it's in this sort of clay color. I think that's appropriate. Very nice. $7.99 cover price. These have been well worth the cover price. Again, with these they've been... We get a pretty steep discount on these, so I just want to take a look. Batman One Bad Day, 40% off. So $7.99 cover price, but paying $4.79 for it. So that's not bad. That's not bad at all. Nearly half price. So yeah, One Bad Day, Clayface. So moving right on to Bloodstained Teeth, number 9. I've been enjoying this. Atticus Sloan hunting down all of his various made vampires. And again, we have this cool art. No matter how many times I see it, I still love it. I love the colors. This is, again, these are the sort of decisions that I, as an artist, could never make. Why would you think to use these tones like this? And, just, they did, and they did amazing. So, anyhow, Atticus Sloan is, working on getting some revenge in this one, it looks like. And I think that he or the person who's been hunting him is going to be going up against Bram Stoker. So we'll see what happens. And to be concluded. So I don't know if it's going to be the end of the story or if it's going to be just the end of this story arc. But I've been enjoying this one. Is it my favorite of all time? No, but it is a fun vampire book. So Bloodstained Teeth. And this is also a very cool cover. It reminds me a little bit of Stephen Niles or Ben Templesmith. So pretty cool. Betty, the Final Girl. So once again, we venture into the Chilling Adventures Presents line of Archie comics for the Archie horror. And we've got Betty in a sort of slasher horror movie fix situation. And she's staying with Veronica and things get scary. So, yeah, it's, got Josie and the Pussycats in this. Yep, so, yeah, it's going to be the same sort of fun, chilling adventures thing that we've seen before. And I really like the cover I ended up getting. I like this cover more than that one. So anyhow, and again, they can't help but put in a little bit of background stuff, fill up the back of the book. I'm going to be getting this Pop's Chocolate Shop of Horrors, I want to say next month or whenever it's coming out. I've never really read core Archie, like the plain old Archie, and I love the idea of Archie in India. Really cool. But I'm probably never going to end up watching it. But I do see that this Watch the Archies only on Netflix. I wonder if there's a Archie cartoon on Netflix. Just flip through the rest of this. And this is another one that's interested me. Big Ethel Energy. And that's on Webtoon. So I haven't looked into Webtoon at all, but it seems like a cool thing. I may have to look into that at some point. So, yep. So, Veronica Lodge has invited Betty Cooper to her luxurious mountaintop chalet for a cozy weekend of skiing. But their girls' weekend is interrupted when Veronica invites her pesky younger cousin along. It's made even worse when she heads out to run an errand in a snowstorm. What could go wrong for Betty at a fancy remote cabin in the mountains, babysitting all by herself? It doesn't say that. Her mind races as she can't tell fact from fiction as she suddenly realizes she might not be so alone. Is Betty believing too much in the horror movies she's watched, or is someone or something really out to get her? Yeah, so I think that could be really cool. And this does have a hashtag Betty the Final Girl at the bottom. So when I actually read this, I've been doing Instagram posts, which I'm probably going to put on the Giacomo and Friends channel instead of my personal channel, which is Comic Book Tea Time. And I'll make sure to use that hashtag. I'll talk about Comic Book Tea Time later. But anyways, Betty the Final Girl. Again, I like this. I like this cover. Speaking of covers look at that. Breath of Shadows #2. So Breath of Shadows follows a musician who's kind of lost his muse, and he's trying to find it again, and he's doing so through a sort of drug trip seeking that he's doing. It kind of makes me puts me in the mind of someone that's trying to do ayahuasca or something like that, except for it's more forbidden and that sort of thing. He's already having weird visions of people crawling with insects and things because he's already on some various drugs and things. See, so I like this cover that I got. I probably should have got that one to go with the #1 cover, but I really dug this. So it's what it is. So, they finally get to the jungle and they're seeking out the drug that he's looking for. And he's got all of his bandmates with him that he did not want to be dealing with. I really enjoy, look at that grossness. Look at that grossness. Next month, Breath of Shadows. So that's the #3. Yeah, I kind of regret not getting that cover now. I should have. But again, I like this one, but I like that one. And I like this one. And I like that one. I don't like that one. So at least I get one that I like. So, but yeah, it's a solid series. If you enjoy, I want to say this, it has a 70s feeling to it, almost. And if you enjoy sort of psychological thrillery stuff, I want to say like Serpent in the Rainbow. This may be in that sort of vein. So, Breath of Shadows. Buffy, the Last Vampire Slayer special. We are back again with the alternate universe where Buffy is older, basically friendless, and she is the very last of the vampire slayers, and she has teamed up with Thessaly, the daughter of Willow and Tara, and they're dealing with the vampire problem. So vampires are basically out, and they are making life horrible for everyday humans. It reminds me a teeny tiny bit of Night Watch, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I enjoyed the initial series, so I had a hard time saying no to this one-shot special. So I think that it might be a fun time. And we're just going to get more into Thessaly as she develops. And I'm thinking that it's going to probably bring things to a nicer close than the original series had. And I'm just looking at this, a monster for every season. The seasons have teeth. I had seen a ad for this, and I just had decided against it. But, because you can't get everything. I wish I could. But I can't. I'm trying to keep it under the $100 mark or thereabouts. This is another one I was looking at. I think I put this on my list because it's got the magic words. Cullen Bunn. Dig Cullen Bunn as a writer. I was talking to Saz earlier, and she's like, I hope he doesn't burn out. He's writing so many books. So I also hope that Cullen Bunn does not burn out, because I enjoy their work. And on the back we have just the vampires are people too, basically. What's the word I'm looking for? Propaganda work. And so this I think will be a fun time. Last Vampire Slayer. Sandman Universe Dead Boy Detectives. So they're dealing with Filipino folklore, which I think is neat. So they have some cool monsters, some Aswang kind of monsters. And yeah, it's been neat so far. It's strange because, again, it's I don't want to say, it doesn't really come across as misappropriation, but it's a little weird. I don't know the backgrounds of the writers and artists and such, but I do think that it's a little strange. I like seeing the monsters from a different culture, and I think that it fits, and I think that there's absolutely nothing that's disrespectful, but it also seems slightly odd, but it's been interesting, and I've enjoyed it, so there is that, whatever that is worth. So, Catwoman, Lonely City, kind of dig that art. Anyways, so Swamp Thing Green Hell, I almost added this to my list. The hardcover's coming out, and I was going to get it, and it was just too expensive. I put it on my Christmas list. So yeah, boop, boop, boop. And there we are. So yeah, like I said, it's neat that they're dealing with a different kind of monster. But I really found myself wondering, I don't know. What's the right word? I don't think it's misappropriation. I think everything's handled very well. But at the same time, it's having the white characters of the Dead Boy Detectives dealing with the exotic supernatural monsters, is a little incongruous and a little bit, it just makes me look a little askance at it. It's not like, ooh, what's this? And I don't think that's going to have a white savior sort of vibe to it. But I'm kind of concerned that it's going to have a white savior vibe to it. So I guess that's where I'm coming at with this. So we'll see how it goes. There's still a couple of issues left, and so far I've enjoyed what I've read. The only issue that I have, I think, is just wondering if they're going to get distasteful with it at some point. Which I don't think that they're going to. But I just worry, I suppose. And get told I worry a lot, and unnecessarily. All right, so here's our Cullen Bunn book for at least one of them. Door by Door, Door to Door, Night by Night. Read the first 2 issues of this, and this has been excellent so far. Dig this cover with the owl. And as we flip this open, last time they're going into a goblin hideout, and so they're actually arrived at the goblin hideout, and they're going to go in, and see what kind of weird stuff they come across. And as we flip through, we see that there's going to be lots of fun colors, lots of goblins, a bit of action, and we'll probably see some sort of end of this story arc. So Vault Comics and the team behind Door to Door Night by Night have been really knocking it out of the park. In issue 2, they had some of the best sequences on a page that I've seen in a long time, where they have the current thing going on with a character and they have a flashback, and most of it's wordless. I think that was really nice and powerful. So they've been doing a good job with this. I love the idea of the door-to-door salespeople coming across the monster of the week. So yeah, Door to Door Night by Night. Gargoyles, nothing but gargoyles from Disney. And so here we have gargoyles once again. We have the nice photorealistic-ish cover, and inside, boom, there we go. We got the Disney afternoon art, which is cool. And again, seeing some of these characters like Xanatos, it just brings back memories, and it makes me feel good. It's pretty cool. So the thing that I'm concerned about, not that I'm concerned. Ooh, these Disney villain books coming out. They seem neat, but I'm passing on them because I just can't. But I like that cover. That cover is really nice. And anywho's, let's flip to the back here and just summarize. I forgot to order an issue. I think it's number 4. I have to check my DCBS order list, but I will have to go to the local comic shop to pick up the one that I forgot to order. I feel so grumpy about it, I suppose. Grumpy at myself about it, because I've been getting these covers, and I hope that they're going to have this version of the cover. And I'm afeared that it's going to be one of the gargoyles that I like the best. That's going to be the cover that I'm going to miss. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyways, but this has been fun. It's been nostalgic. If you're not a fan of the original series, I don't think this is going to win you over. It's a little more bizarre than the original series. And I feel like it's missing a lot of the Shakespearean references that the original series had, so it doesn't even really have that going for it. But it's been a fun read so far. Now, it is from Dynamite Comics, which I've had a very spotty track record with. I feel like a lot of times they feel incomplete with their stories. So I'm wondering where this is going to go long term. And I also wonder if this is going to go long term or if this is going to be canceled soon. So I haven't heard anything. I'm not an insider or anything like that. But I do wonder, how many issues this is going to go. So, but like I said, I've enjoyed it. I think it's been fun. It's a nice nostalgic trip. But is this a book that I'm in high demand for? Nah. Could I take it or leave it? I'd rather take it, but if the price went up or something like that, meh. So here we are with Grimm number 8. So we have the Fates on the cover. Death is not working correctly in the world, and it's causing all kinds of problems, and they're trying to get to the root of what's going on. So it's been a cool storyline so far. I'm looking forward to seeing a little bit more of the Fates and seeing where this story is going to go. I've not been disappointed at all with Grimm. It's been a fun romp with some supernaturalness. So I'm just really hoping that the storyline runs solid. So once again, they weren't, to my knowledge, offering a foil version of the cover. So just got this one, which, I wouldn't mind having that in foil. Last Barbarians. So this is a new book, and I got the Virgin art cover. So I like having sometimes these books that have no title or anything on it. Sometimes it can be tough because when you're alphabetizing things, you have to actually open up the bag and find them. But yeah, so this is a number one, and this has been something I've been waiting for. It involves a pair of barbarian types. The brother, if I recall correctly, has some sort of issues, and the sister is the one that's sort of going on the adventure and pulling him along. I haven't read this one yet, of course. He's just came in last night. And yeah, we'll see how this goes. I think it's going to be a strong fantasy book. We'll find out more. Yeah, you get a sip of water. And water sipping is done. So we got Little Monsters number 8. So this is interesting. This one did not ship when it should have shipped, and I didn't notice it didn't ship until I went to read number 9, and I realized that number 8 hadn't come in yet. So I just contacted DCBS, let them know it didn't come in, and they immediately sent it on the next shipment. So I like this cover with the shadowy cameo, the silhouette. And a little bit of blood dripping in the mouth area. I think that's a really neat cover idea. And same as it's been. Black and white art. Really cool looking. The storyline has been solid so far. And I've enjoyed where it's going. I look forward to reading it every time it comes in. And I'm just going to flip right into the next one. Because we got Little Monsters number 10. Really dig this cover as well. This has got all the vampires walking across this plank with some underneath. But yeah, it's been a solid story so far. And, you know, I think for a vampire story to work, you have to have good characterization. And they have good characterization in spades with this. So, you know, Jeff Lemire has done a good job with this. And the art team, Dustin Nguyen, has also done very splendid. I love this series so far, and I'm looking forward to seeing how this is going to go, how this is going to end, if it's going to end. So, but yeah, so Little Monsters, number 8, number 10, number 9 was last month. Magic Order 4, number 2. So, Magic Order has picked things up a little bit. I feel like the third series ended okay. It ended okay enough that I wanted to get into the fourth series. Fourth series started out very strong. And so we see here this number 2 echoes the Magic Order Series 1, number 1, if I'm not mistaken, where it had the various members of the Magic Order floating above. And I think it was on a we were looking down on them, and this is looking up on the people that are sort of taking over things. So, we got a little bit of Uncle Edgar over here. We got all kinds of cool art. I just love the look of this. And hey, little belly button eye going on there. We got all kinds of little. I should really flip faster because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, this is. I feel like this has been a good turning point series so far. I want to say volume for the series. Let's just move this down a little bit. I get a lot of glare today. I'm using the overhead light so that I can actually see. Anyways, so I've enjoyed where this is going. Is this must read? Not necessarily. Is it a fun read? Yeah, I've enjoyed it so far. But Magic Order Magic Order Volume 4, number 2. Now, a book I have been looking forward to for quite some time. Masters of the Universe, Masterverse. So I'm in a He-Man fan club on Facebook, And I've seen all sorts of people getting these in, and I've been waiting to get mine in. We got Prince Adam and this Cthulhuid thing, and we got a little Scully Wully going on. That's not Skeletor, but it definitely looks it. And as we flip into it, we see, we got nice cartoon art. And my understanding is this is going to go into like the various universes of He-Man, which I think will be really cool. And we'll see how it goes. Once I read it, I know that a lot of the other He-Man fans that I know have enjoyed it. So we'll see how good it is. I am at minimum optimistic. So we'll see where we go. So Masters of the Universe, Masterverse. Miracle Man, the Silver Age #4. It's been a long wait to get to Miracle Man's newest volume, The Silver Age, and it's been worth it. So far, the storyline has been great. Everything's been strong. I really, really dig what they're doing. And there you got Young Marvel Man meets Young Nasty Man. But yeah, really digging this. Going with the retro art style for some of this. But yeah, I'd say it's just a couple of pages of concept art and things like that. And yeah, I really have dug where they're going. Do I think that it's better than any of the previous volumes? I think it's definitely an improvement over a lot of the previous volumes. And I think that it's continuing a trend of becoming more and more adult and complex. So, I think it's honoring what Alan Moore's original intent was, to have a more mature story. And again, this is more about the complexities of being a superhero and the complexities of the label of hero than anything else. It's not as much about the violence. It's not as much about the easy solutions and things. So I feel like Neil Gaiman understands where Alan Moore was going with this, and that's why it works so well. Especially when you listen to Alan Moore talk about comics and stuff today. I think that this actually really does honor where he's going, So, yeah, Miracle Man #4, Nightclub. All right, so this has been a fun read so far. It's like youngsters get some vampire powers. They dress in luchador costumes so that they can go out in the light. And they're making like YouTube videos and things showing off their powers. And I'm pretty sure they're going to end up having to pay some sort of price for that. And we'll see what happens. But this has been, it's been a fun read so far. I will enjoy to see it more. Did not love the choices of covers for this month. But, they can't all be winners. And this one's not terrible. But, yeah, they just can't all be winners. Nightwalkers, #2. All right, so this has been a cool read. Love that jaw coming chewy. And the upside downness of it is also neat. So we flip into it, and yeah, grim and dark for some grim dark action. So there are these. Let's get this to focus. So yeah, there are these vampire-like creatures. I don't even want to call them vampires. They remind me a little bit of the Wendigo from Until Dawn. And all the action started at a rehab facility, and now it's expanding outward. And it's a story of survival. This has been, so far, reminds me of the best parts of The Walking Dead. So, take that for what it's worth. If you enjoyed the early days of Walking Dead, you may like Nightwalkers. So that's all I'm going to say about that for now. And also get these neat Virgin covers with no anything on them, because these are neat. They just look nice, and I like the two different versions of them. Like this is the dark version. There's also a light version. Phantasmagoria number 5. So this series is just about done. It's from Black Caravan. Black Caravan's been really bad with being on time. They actually had Vanity Act 2 got canceled and is going to be resolicited in the future. So let's get this focus again. So I'm really hoping that they get the last issue of Phantasmagoria out before whatever is happening happens, because I'm worried. There's that word again. I'm not really worried. I just, and I don't even want to say concerned. I would like to finish reading the story as intended. I don't want it to get canceled and then never come out again. So this art, once again, reminds me of Guy Davis. I sound like a broken record when I talk about this, but yeah. Ooh, nice, cool power thing going on. So I think that we're going to see a lot of forward momentum in this issue. And I think things are going to get to where they need to go. I believe that there's one more issue to go after this. So I think it's going to have a nice, pleasant ending. It's going to feel complete. Rick and Morty versus Cthulhu. And this one is the 3rd issue. And we got the, standard Rick and Morty type art for covers. And inside, looks like a Rick and Morty, just as you suspect. We got Rick as a Yith in this one. So here's the dealio. As I'm reading through these, the Rick and Morty comics, Rick and Morty versus Cthulhu comics specifically, they just have a sort of mean-spirited vibe. Like Rick and Morty can be a very mean-spirited show, but I find that the humor still is funny because they're being mean-spirited to each other and maybe making snide comments about this or that. And like when they were doing the D&D crossover thing, like there was Rick was very disrespectful against certain D&D fans, but then Jerry embodied that as embodied those that he was disrespectful towards in a positive way. So I think that's nice. In this one, the punchline of most of the gags are Lovecraft is racist or Lovecraft was a shut-in. Like that's pretty much the punchline of the greater share of the jokes, and they've just not been funny. So I hope it ends better than it started. I think there's one more issue, maybe 2 left, and it's been sort of a unpleasant read, and I'm hoping that this one will be a little bit better. So we'll see. But Rick and Morty versus Cthulhu, number 3. And speaking of number 3s, we got She Bites, number 3. This is the last of the She Bites that's been solicited, and so it's finally come in. And, again, I've really enjoyed the ride on this so far, and I'm wondering if this is going to be the last issue we're going to see, which, wouldn't surprise me. I know Scout Comics has been not always the best at giving us lots and lots of long series, but I hope that this comes to a nice end, because I've enjoyed the first couple of issues, and I think that this one will be just as fun. Specs. Now, this series has been awesome. I have been really enjoying this, and things just keep getting deeper as they keep using the specs to get wishes, and really complicated relationships are just getting more complex, and they're really digging into the time that this is taking place in, and my goodness, they've done such a good job with this. I I I have nothing bad to say about this book, about the team behind it. They've done just a fantastic job so far, and I want them to succeed, and I want this to succeed long term. I think this has been a good series, a powerful series, and it's well worth checking out. So Specs. So Blood Moon Comics has probably heard my outcry, because if you remember from a little while back, that when I got one of the issues of Cover the Dead with the Lime, I said, well, the Blood Moon Comics icon logo is like a couple centimeters big, and then the price is even smaller than that. The person that was checking me out at the comic store actually had to take out a magnifying glass to look at the price. So now we have nice big bold logo, nice big bold price. Good job, guys. Good job, folks. You listened. Stray Sheep. It seemed like a neat concept. I honestly do not remember 100% what this was about, but I know that I saw the Blood Moon was putting it out, and again, I enjoyed Cover the Dead with Lime, and it just sounded like it was going to be a creepy, cool story. So more to come as when I actually read this, but it's got nice, stark black and white art. So if you remember, some time ago I had read the Lovecraft collected stories there that were printed black and white, and they had thin paper. This is what it should be printed on. Nice, thick, glossy paper that you can't see through. So Stray Sheep. I will get more into what this was about next month after I read it. All I know is I really thought it was going to be neat. Where Monsters Lie, number 2. So number 1 really was a good time. So it covers the small community where a bunch of serial killing weirdos, like you think Jason Voorhees, Michael Myers, Jigsaw, all living in one gated community, and they have they let one out. They let one of the people out every so often. They go through what their crazy killing contraptions are going to be and all that before they let them out. And it's neat. It's a weird idea, but it's a cool idea. And I really, really, really have dug this so far. It's funny, and it's disturbing, and it does it really well. So I've been enjoying it. So we gotta just it seems like a very short book. As I flip through, I'm like, wow, all of a sudden I'm in the ads. So anyways, that is Baphomet. I laughed so much when I found out that the dog's name was Baphomet. Anyways, those are the books for this month. And by the way, I was painting silver earlier, and I still have some right on my finger. It'll come off eventually. All right, so that is the end of the comic haul for the day. If that's all you're here for, make sure that you like, comment, subscribe, ring the bell, do all those good things that will help the channel grow and get us more towards the my first goal is the 100 subscribers for the channel. And if we hit that, we're going to have a little special that we're going to do, which is going to be a in-person videoed role-playing session that's going to be run by Giacomo. So I think that's going to be a fun time when it happens. And I don't think it's going to be because we're hovering about 60 or so, and I think that we're going to get to 100 sooner than I believe. We'll see. We'll see what happens. So anyways, but If you're going to go, thank you for being here. We'll see you next time. But if you're going to stay, it's time to talk a little bit. And what we're going to talk about today is COVID had struck the house, which is why we have zilch going on in the channel. Because when COVID hit, it hit hard, and we're still kind of reeling from it. It was not severe. So I said when it hit hard. It was not like respiratory distress. There wasn't hospitalization or anything like that. But what it has done is left a lot of fatigue in its wake, and that's created a challenge. And we've had some other challenges that we've been dealing with that I can't really go too much into as I sink into the pillow of my chair. So there's some other challenges and things that I don't want to get into at this time that have been eating up a lot of hours each day during the week. So we've had appointment after appointment after appointment over the last couple of weeks, and this is going to continue probably through March and into April. So maybe in May we'll see things start to lighten up, I hope, and that would be nice. But I can say for myself, I have coming up, I have to do some blood work, and then I have to go to the hematologist, which is going to be tons of fun. I don't like going to the hematologist. It's the blood tests are expensive, and then his final say of everything is, "We're watching," which I don't dig, because I'm a person that likes answers, good or bad, and I don't like the constant we're watching. So the long and short on it is that I have low red and white blood cells, they're saying, and they're just watching them fluctuate. And so they've done tests for all sorts of things for me already. So everything severe has been ruled out, but things that could be long-term problems and things like that, they're still kind of looking into. And they're just sort of watching to see if any of my blood cell counts just go drop or if they normalize or whatever. So not super fun. Not super fun at all. But it is what it is. Excuse me. I'm all need to drink and stuff. Hang on a second. I get water. Yay. So, but yeah, aside from that, it's just the COVID fatigue, in general, stuff going on has really made it difficult to sit down and do some of this stuff. And I've been missing it, because I do like, sitting here talking to you folks and sort of just, whatever comes to mind. And I really have been wanting to work with Giacomo and Gus to do more stuff for the channel. But, it's just a matter of being able to make the time to do it. And right now, the time just doesn't exist. It's like I get up, I do some mini painting, I do some exercises, and then we have appointments, and then I run errands, and then I take a nap, or I have tea time, which is starting to be now I'm having tea time. I'll get into that in a second. Anyway, so, and then it's off to work, and then when I'm done work, I am just lay down in bed, tired, I'm done. So, so tea time. I've been trying to, number one, treat myself with a little bit more care, and I've been trying to enjoy my hobby a little bit more. Any of my hobbies, actually, I've been trying to enjoy more. And specifically turning an eye towards my comic hobby, I've been wanting to really take more time to enjoy reading. So a lot of times when I'm reading comics, I'll have my big pile and I will try to plow through my pile. And that's not always the best way to read. Um, like I'll read like 3 books in a half an hour when I'm at lunch or something like that. And it just, it's not respectful at times to the creator because I'm not absorbing it the way that I want to. And then I feel like I have to go back and read it, or I feel like I haven't really read it. End After End, I think, is a really good example because, I feel like maybe I never gave the book a real chance. Maybe it's just because I was reading it so fast that I wasn't really internalizing it, or maybe just it was not my cup of tea. But what I decided to do is, every day after I do the dishes with Saz, I will sit down, I'll make a cup of tea, and I will read a comic. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually start posting those posts to the Giacomo and Friends channel so that you guys can see a little bit of that. So I'll just talk about if I'm having a snack, what the snack is, and I'll talk a little bit about the tea that I'm drinking, and I'll talk about the book that I'm reading. And that might also be where we will find on the Instagram some comic reviews. I think that would be nice. So we'll see what we'll do with that. And because there definitely is a different, let's say, a different amount of feel and a different feel overall to doing just like a reel versus doing a sit down video like this, where I feel like I should do real content that is relevant and heartfelt and whatever. It's hard to actually say, like I could just do a haul video as a reel, but I'd be like, here it is, here it is, here it is, here it is, there it was. But I like just taking the time to look at each of the books with you, and then to spend this time talking with you. So, anyways, one of the things I'd like to do is I'd like to do a actual review of Archie versus the World. One of the subscribers, Blius Brick, had mentioned some interest in it. So I think that if I take a little bit of time to take a look at the Archie versus the World, just real quick, I thought that it was a neat read. It's exactly the kind of short story that I like to read when it comes to a comic. So, a huge fan of Astro City. And one of the things I like about Astro City is that in one issue, they can cram in an entire crossover event that you would usually see in Marvel. So, like they can do huge events in just a matter of 2 pages because of the way the storytelling works. And they do that, and they do that well in Archie versus the World. Archie versus the World is a complete series within a one-shot, which I really dig what the writers did. It's a little bit of Mad Max, and it's a lot of bit of Fist of the North Star, which was unexpected. But yeah, it was a really cool series. It was a really cool one-shot, and it definitely worked. So it's a very good entry in the inappropriately post-apocalyptic comic world, because there was the Scooby-Doo apocalypse, there was the wacky race wasteland, but before all of that was Weapon Brown, which I think I would like to go dig through some of my comics and see if I can pull out my copy of Weapon Brown to share that a little bit, because that was a cool one shot as well. It was like this grimdark version of Charlie Brown with Linus summoning the Great Pumpkin like a Cthulhu mythos entity. I thought that was really cool. Anyways, that's what we got for today. So I hope that y'all have a wonderful month. I hope that I will see you before the end of the month. I don't know if I will. And if I don't, we will see you in April with a entirely new batch of comics. So have yourself a wonderful time, and we will see you next time. Don't forget to read your books. Don't forget to collect fun books. Don't forget to follow your bliss. And if you have time, just comment, like, subscribe, do all the good things, and we'll see where we can go from there. All right. Well, so we'll see you next time. Bye.